I'd like to discuss briefly something I've noticed, right? Tell me if it's true for you. I call it spoiled little Muslim prince syndrome, right? Now, disclaimer, right? Not all Muslims, right? But at least to me, as an outside observer, right? As a typical Western guy, I see these oldest sons in these Muslim families, not always Arab families, right? But oldest sons in general in Muslim families, right? Especially if they're the only son, right? They just seem to be treated rather indulgently, right? Until they reach the age of adolescence and manhood. And then it's just like, boom, that's it. You're a man now, right? You still have the supports of your extended family and your co-religionists, right? And so, therefore, you may have advantages, clear advantages socially, right? Or at least within your in-group that the individualistic, atomized Westerner doesn't have, right? You may have those beneficial support groups, but I would say the disadvantage of this is, right, is that a lot of these young men do not handle independence very well. How can I put this without sounding like a complete asshole? Maybe Uday and Hussein, right, are not applicable examples, right? But sometimes you see this type of playboy, devil-may-care, even nihilistic type of like borderline socio behavior from these little Pashas, right? These little kind of like spoiled Islamic princes. I think it's just how, right, the difference in the cultural patriarchies function, right? Western fathers typically try to prepare their sons more for independence and that harsh, competitive, rootless Anglo-Saxon individualistic world that we inherit, right? Whereas, the Muslim families don't have that, and yet they have their indulgent mothers and female relatives, right, who dote on them and fret over them. And their fathers who allow this, right? Because, quite frankly, they're probably too busy, or they just may not care, right? As long as, he's not an active disgrace to the family, right? They may not even care, right? For anyone who is just lower within the immediate totem pole, right? The younger sons or the cousins or what, they may be completely, neglected, or just, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. There is a partiality in these extended family structures, you know what I mean? That in polygamous Muslim societies tends to bring out the absolute worst, at least from my own narrow bigoted perspective, right? So I don't know. Tell me what you think. Have you noticed this, right? I don't know. Musbros, please respond. Have you noticed, right, someone acting like a total stereotype, like the type I've described, right? Maybe not someone who is necessarily rich, right? But I don't know. Again, I don't want to encourage just a hate on Chad or hate on Ahmed, fest without any reflection, right? I just want honest responses. So I don't know. Thank you. You've been patient listeners. Have a nice N-word free day.